Mark Hughes is the new Bradford City manager. Let me know your thoughts on the appointment. Enjoy the video. Welcome to the new era at Bradford City, the revival, if you like, of this football club. There are a lot of sour, toxic vibes around the club, but this appointment of Mark Hughes has lifted the morale inside and outside the football club, and I see it as a big appointment for the club, a massive one for Ryan Sparks. He has to get this appointment right, and it sits well with the fans. The fans, for the most part, I haven't seen much negativity around this appointment, and I think they've got it spot on. Ryan Sparks and Stefan Rupp, they've done a really good job at getting this big name in. You know, as a player, he was regarded as world class at his time in the 90s and late 80s. And I think as a manager, he's managed at the top level. He's managed in the best league in the world, in the Premier League, and I think he will do well at City. But it's too early to say that. I think we've got to write off the season, like Mark Hughes said. Just want to finish the season as well as we can and get into next season, have a strong transfer window and push on to get promotion next season. But I think whatever happens, this manager must see out his contract. Mark Hughes must be able to see out his contract till the summer of 2024, which is when it will run out. So he's been given quite a lengthy contract, 2.5-year deal, and I feel like like I said, he's managed at the top level. Obviously will be known for managing Man City at that time when he was the front of that Man City movement, really, and you know, he did really well at Blackburn, you know, a couple of mid-table, top 10 finishes and got them into Europe, which is a big achievement for the team he had at that point. He came in and wanted to stay up, and they got mid-table, and then they pushed on and got a couple of European places and kicked on. But he's a manager who's got 8 top half finishes in the Premier League, so he's experienced at the age of 58, turning 59 in November this year. He's a football manager who's respected, and he's got a big reputation. However, towards the end of Stoke and Southampton, that reputation's been tarnished, but I think League 2 will be quite, and bottom half of League 1 will be thinking how Bradford City managed to get Mark Hughes. And I think the reason is the fan base. You know, that's a big aspect of, you know, why managers want to come to Bradford City and why we get so many applicants come for the job when we sack a manager, which is quite a lot of, which has been it's been quite an occasion the last few years, hasn't it, really? But you know, it is a pull, the fan base. Maybe the ownership, you have to really delve deep in to see how they are doing, the owners, because they get a lot of slack. But you know, I think it's another video for another day to go into the ownership of Bradford City. But it was a big it was a big appointment that Ryan Sparks had to get right, because he was receiving a lot of criticism, but now this appointment has pulled the club together. It was quite a sour and toxic place, this football club, the last few weeks under Derek Adams, and Mark Trimman couldn't do a great deal to switch it, only being a caretaker. But a big manager, a big name to come into this football club, like Mark Hughes at this moment of time, has lifted the morale. It'll probably bring some fans back on Saturday, because, you know, just looking around and you can see that there's no one really interested in the club, there's no one really coming. Season tickets were looking like they were going to massively fall next season, and now Mark Hughes coming in, you know, that just presence of a former Premier League manager who's never managed below the Premier League, and to come to a League 2 side, you know, like I said, over League 2 and League 1 teams will be looking, how have we got him? And, you know, he will see this as a big challenge. He said in his press conference, this is a different challenge to what I normally have, and he's relishing it. And he also said, you know, we don't be scared of me coming here, and he said I will be dedicated, I will put everything into this club, and I believe he will, and I believe it will work out. Only if we do back him. I mean, he'll have contacts, won't he? He'll have contacts from Southampton's academy, Stoke, and many players will think, from Premier League manager there, will I want to work with him? He'll get us doing the basics as well. I think that's one of the main things with this appointment. A manager like Mark Hughes will be able to drill into these players the basics of defending corners, which we've been struggling under Mark Truman. And just doing the the fundamentals of winning football matches. We've been overcomplicating it, mainly under Derek Adams, continue to do it under Mark Truman, where we're just passing the ball too much, doing neat little intricate passing, which is too good for League Two. And in League Two, it's all about effort, and I do feel like the way Mark Hughes plays will benefit us, and I think it will work out in the lower leagues the way Mark Hughes plays football. I mean, they were known, Stoke, weren't they, as a team who put maximum effort in but aren't the prettiest to watch. A bit like Burnley are now. And you don't see many managers like that at the top level anymore, and I think that's why Mark Hughes has struggled to get jobs. He did come out and say, but I have been offered jobs, but none of them really felt like the right time or felt like the right club. And he said, this club feels like it's happened at the right time for me, and a club that I've got something to work with. He also has spoken to Rupp and said he's got the right mindset, and I'm looking forward to working with him and Ryan Sparks. And I think a lot of fans are optimistic about this appointment. A manager who's managed Blackburn, did well, Man City, okay, didn't do as well as he probably should have, but I think that was like a David Moyes situation, where he came in, it was a bit too big of a club for him at the time. Fulham, he did a good job as well, getting 2 top half finishes in there, but I think his mentality wasn't good enough at Fulham, where he said I wanted to go manage a bigger club from Fulham in QPR, which I don't think was right, and he realised that when he came out in an interview in 2013 saying it. And I think, he's managed Stoke and he did well for the first few years, first 3, 4 maybe, and then towards the end of that state petered out, didn't it? And they were down towards the bottom, and they had to get sacked in a way. And then at Southampton, I think he went into that club a bit too soon. Straight after being sacked from Stoke, I think he did need to take a bit of time out. And he said after that Southampton sacking, he said, I do need to take time out. I don't think he expected it to be this long, but he said the timing wasn't right for many clubs that I got given, and I do think it'll work out, but it's too early to say. We have to back him, we have to give this manager time. We've said that quite a number of times, but I think get this manager right and we could be up there, but I do feel like if he does do well here, maybe get a promotion, he will be quick to jump the boat. I think this is a stepping stone for him to regain his reputation, to try and get into the big clubs again. But I think his type of manager's petered out in the recent years, your Allardyces, your Pulises. Dyche is holding on just about, and I would compare him to David Moyes in the way he plays and the way he gets his teams playing, and he gets them in the top halves and gets the expectations right. He said he's had massive expectations, sometimes he hasn't dealt with it and sometimes he has. Hopefully he deals with it at Bradford City, and hopefully we get a run going towards the end of the season, something to build into next season for, get good recruitment, maybe some good loans in from various Championship, Premier League clubs. Get the recruitment right, and this could be and back in the manager. I feel like getting a manager in with such a high reputation, but may drop, but still, high reputation in it really. He's probably a Championship manager now, but he's manager at the top level. Getting him in will have took a lot of promises from the board, and I feel like maybe he might not be on a high wage, but he might be saying, don't give me such a high wage, but as long as you pay that wage back in signings, then I'll come. And I think getting a good run towards the end of the season, but then getting some good signings in the summer is key. Otherwise, maybe he won't be happy with the board, but we'll just have to see how this moves on over the next year. But no matter what, we have to stick by him. We have to, unless it's going really, really bad, then you probably force him out. But the club have to take control with a manager they've appointed, and it is important for Ryan Sparks that this is the right one. But at the beginning, all the fans are happy, and the morale's gone up, and I'm sure that season ticket might actually go up. Hopefully, he can get a tune out of this squad, and then kick on next season. Like I said, get some good points on the board from now to the end of the season, and see what this team's about. And I said that the most important thing is to get a manager in who can look at this team and then look at the retained list and then see who he wants to keep and then get a good transfer window in. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.